Hi. So, I did the one where you draw the models of the brain. So I'm pretty good at drawing, not so good with computers, so I did that instead. So this is the first one of my brain. I don't know if you can really see or read it much, but I will be telling you about it. So, the prefrontal cortex is this orange part right here. And the prefrontal cortex, it's linked to the complex human behaviors such as like planning, decision making, responding to appropriately, and social situations. Sleep deprivation strongly affects the prefrontal cortex, leading to problems with like memory and decision making. The primary somatosensory cortex, that is this red right here. I don't know if you can really see it, but it's the red right there. And this is the region of the brain responsible for processing sensory information from the body, including touch, pain, temperature, and proprioception, body awareness. I can't read the word. It is located in the postcentral gyrus of the parietal lobe, immediately behind the central sulcus. This cortex receives input from the thymus, which relays information from sensory receptors throughout the body. And then we have the lateral fissure, which is this. It's like highlighted in green, but it points to like this little line right here. The lighting is bad. Hold up. So like it points to like this little line right here. And it is a like deep groove or sulcus of the surface of the brain that separates the frontal and parietal lobes of the temporal lobe. It's one of the most prominent features of the cerebral cortex and is found in both hemispheres of the brain. The insula is a hidden lobe is located deep within the lateral fissure. So the lateral fissure is like the line, this like little line right here in between. Next, we have the central sulcus, which is like this, which is another little line like in between the primary motor cortex and the primary somatosensory cortex, like this little line right here. And the central sulcus is a prominent groove of the brain's lateral surface. This groove separates the frontal and parietal lobes, and it plays a key role in defining the primary motor cortex. Then we have the primary motor cortex, which is this blue on this side. So this is the brain region crucial for executing like voluntary movements. It's considered the main source of neurons in the corticospinal tract. I just messed that up. Which sends signals down to the spinal cord to control muscle movement, the primary motor cortex. And then we have the primary auditory cortex, which is this blue, like teal type area right here. We have that. It is a region of the cerebral cortex primarily responsible for the initial processing of auditory information, specifically sound perception. Located in the temporal lobe, it receives direct input from the thymus and is crucial for conscious perception of sound. Then we have the primary visual cortex, which is this yellow area right here in the back of the brain. And this is the first area of the cerebral cortex to receive visual information. It is located in the occipital lobe and is responsible for processing basic visual features like edges, lines, and colors. This cortex is a critical uh, is critical for visual processing, acting as the entry point for visual information from the retinas and processing this information to higher visual areas. Okay, so now I am going to show my second model. So this one is a little more, has more things to it. So we have this. It's a lot of information, like a lot. So I don't know if you can see it a little better, but there's that one. So first up, we are going to be doing the frontal lobe. Computer issues. Okay, so the frontal lobe is this like big red area right here. Okay, and this is the largest lobe of the brain and located in the front of the cerebral cortex, responsible for a wide range of function, including motor control, executive functions like planning, decision making, and aspects of personality and social behavior. Next, we got the central sulcus, which is the little line right here. I know it was on the other model also, but it's on here too. So, it's a prominent groove of the brain's lateral surface. This groove separates the frontal and parietal lobes, and it plays a key role in defining the primary motor cortex. So then we have this next, the parietal lobe, or parietal lobe. It's kind of like a purplish color right here. And this is responsible for processing sensory information and spatial awareness and integrating sensory inputs with motor functions. Involved in functions like touch, taste, temperature, and also plays a role in visual spatial reasoning, navigation, and some visual functions. Some of these words I do not know how to pronounce exactly. Then we got the occipital lobe, this like blue area right here. Now this might look the same color as this right here, but as you can see, like this is a different area that we're going to talk about in a second. So it kind of cuts off right here. Like, see the little difference of color? I guess you can kind of see like the difference of color right there. So this area and this area, two different areas. So what we're talking about right now is right here, this blue area, the occipital lobe. So this is a region of the brain located in the back of the head. It is primarily responsible for processing visual information received by the eyes. Next, we got the cerebellum, which is like this pinky purple area right here next to this orange. So the cerebellum is a coordination of physical activities, balance, fine motor skills, and mental processes. Processes. So, and then we have the spinal cord, which is like this area, this orange area, is the spinal cord. Spinal cord is kind of broken up in a couple places, but this orange piece is the spinal cord. And this is a column of nerve tissue that runs from the base of the skull down to the center of the back. It acts as a main pathway for communication between the brain and the rest of the body. Then we have the medulla, which the medulla is like right up here. Like right here is the medulla. And this has vital functions like breathing, heart rate, and maintaining muscle formation. Then we have the pons, which the pons is a little higher up and right there. So the pons is an area where fibers, like nerves, cross from the brainstem to the cerebellum, and it also has sleep and arousal in it. So then we have the midbrain, like I have it over here as the midbrain, and it's broken up into two areas, the tectum and the tegmentum, which is right here. Now, the tectum is this further over area, like how it's broken up into two. The tectum is right there, and then the bigger area is the tegmentum, like tectum and tegmentum. So the tectum is a portion, or the portion of the midbrain that sits between the hindbrain and the forebrain. It is responsible for auditory and visual reflexes. And then right here next to it is the tegmentum, and this is in the brainstem. The midbrain and pons involved in functions like movement, sensory processing, and sleep-wake regulation. And then we have the temporal lobe, which is this green right here, like this area is the temporal lobe. So this is a region of the brain located on the sides of the head, just below the temples. And this is responsible for processing auditory information, including speech, and plays a crucial role in memory formation, especially declarative memory and processing emotions. And then the hypothalamus is this like kind of blackish area right here above the temporal lobe. So this helps manage your body's temperature, hunger, thirst, mood, sex drive, blood pressure, and sleep. And then we have the corpus callosum, which is like this brown area right here under this teal, so that like brown area right there. And the corpus callosum is a thick band of fibers connecting the cerebral hemispheres. So like connecting the hemispheres. And then we got, the last thing we got is the cingulate gyrus, which is this teal place that I was telling you about. That right there. And it extends from the frontal lobe into the partial lobe, wrapping around the corpus callosum like a belt. This gyrus is involved in various functions, including emotion processing, pain perception, and attention. So that's what this brown piece. So is my little bird. So now that we have all that and all done, so that was my models, and